Hey everybody, I'm back with another con experience video with ThatDogCoda. So I recently had the opportunity to go back to Furry Weekend Atlanta this year, which, to put it mildly, was quite an experience. Now, FWA has been a furry convention I have attended several times in the past, each year being different than the last. So I'm going to take you on a journey throughout the con experience this year, highlighting key points and details of the pros, cons, and fun-filled events throughout FWA. So, to start things off, for those that don't know much about the furry convention FWA and its history, Furry Weekend Atlanta started as an outgrowth of a local furry meetups often held in Atlanta at the homes of various members of the furry fandom. As the gatherings became larger, the idea of formally holding a convention was raised. But after several unsuccessful attempts, a plan was made to hold a convention in February of 2004. That is almost 20 years ago. Crazy, right? So the name Furry Weekend Atlanta was chosen to echo the name of the anime convention held in the city, Anime Weekend Atlanta. The name became a federally registered trademark on December 2nd, 2008, and the organization currently operates as a 501c3 nonprofit corporation. Now that we had that brief history lesson, let's talk about the start to everyone's con experience, traveling to the con itself. Now, for me, being that I live all the way in the PNW, that's the Pacific Northwest to some, flying is definitely the best, if not only option to get to FWA. Because honestly, not gonna lie, this dog isn't gonna be driving like 45, 50 hours, you know what I mean, to a con. So when you're flying into Atlanta, I did it through the Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport, and it was relatively easy and without much hassle. So for those that don't know, not only is it a very busy airport, but it has once again been named the busiest airport in the world of 2023. It also is one of the most accessible for those flying from overseas to the United States. Now, being that the airport isn't directly next to or close to the FWA hotel, there is no free shuttle service to the host hotel. So, you're gonna have to take some alternate form of transportation to get there. Yeah, sorry about that, but luckily for you, there is a lot of options to choose from. For example, we got Uber and Lyft, paid shuttle services, and the March of Public Transit, which offers buses and rail services. Personally, I found it very easy just to get an Uber to FWA Host Hotel, and at a good price. So if you are staying at the FWA Host Hotel, the Atlanta Marriott Marquis, and you have not seen it before in person, you will quickly realize it is a big hotel, and that is putting it mildly. Here are some fun facts and information about the hotel and why you can clearly see it is the perfect venue for this massive furry con. So first off, fun fact, you might have seen this hotel in some of your favorite movies and TV shows. In the film The Hunger Games, Catching Fire, and Mockingjay Part 1, some scenes of the Capitol's Tribute Center were filmed there. It also was used as the Time Variance Authority headquarters in the Disney Plus series Loki. And it's also host to some very big conventions like Dragon Con, who saw 65,000 attendees in 2022. And you thought furry cons were big. Now, this impressive hotel is the largest hotel in Georgia with 52 stories, 1,663 rooms, including 94 suites. And yes, this dog is not kidding. It is truly a massive number of rooms. It is the 15th tallest skyscraper in the city and the second largest atrium in the world, surpassed only by the Burj Al Arab in Dubai, with its soaring atrium that reaches up the entire height of the building. So if you go all the way up there and look down, I'm not kidding, you will definitely get some vertigo. So the famous atrium with 3 ground level lobby floors is perfect for furs to converse with friends and see everything going on from morning to night. The 10th floor also has a big area to hang out, sit around, and enjoy some fresh air in their expansive patio, with a spiral staircase that connects the 10th floor to the 9th and 11th floor without the use of an elevator. And the 42nd floor features a concierge lounge that is only open to guests staying on the 42nd through 47th floor. But there is also a relaxing luxury spa, an indoor and outdoor pool with bar, and a newly expansive gym. So another great note about the main host hotel is that it is connected to a couple hotels via the Sky Bridge, or simply a quick hop outside, allowing easy access between hotels so you don't miss out on any of the festivities. Also, the 18 elevators the hotel has are split between 4 sections, each with their own range of floors to access. They are located on the 1st through 3rd floor, so not everyone has to take the same elevator to get to their rooms or destination. So speaking of elevators, this is the perfect segue into talking about the 2 trials of the Con Hotel me and my roommate experienced upon arrival. Now, I don't know whose decision it was, but for some crazy reason, the hotel thought it would be a good idea if they make everyone wait until 4 p.m. before start checking in. There's no mobile check-in options, no early check-in, no slow rollout of check-in plans to get through the massive number of furries trying to check into their hotel room. So when 4 p.m. hit, boom, everyone bum rushed the registration desk to check into their hotel rooms. The line was insane. Attendees waiting upwards to hours in line, which wrapped around what seemed like forever to some. My roommate was literally beside themselves as he stood in line for us while I flew into the con. So seriously though, this is not the first rodeo or the big con this hotel has hosted, so, they really kind of dropped the ball here, and I hope they don't repeat this logic for next year. The second and biggest conversation during the con was unfortunately, the dreaded elevator con. But this is to the extreme. No, like seriously, it was. Now, I have been to many cons and I've experienced elevator con with long wait times. I think we all have. But this time, it was on a whole nother level. The wait times were honestly absolutely insane. More than one occasion, waiting upwards to 40 plus minutes just to get on an almost overfilled elevator on the brink of breaking, which unfortunately some of them did on Sunday. A lot of the times there was no consideration for fursuiters or those with accessibility needs, which might needed help or urgency to get up to their rooms. The hotel nor the con had 0 elevator management, so there were no lines or setup to address the order and proper elevator protocol and etiquette. Also, furs doing the riding down to go up plan, that was in full force. Some doing it for several floors. Personally, I know this con grew a lot and it is very big. I understand that. But there is, in my opinion, a time where action needs to be made by the hotel or con to combat situations like the elevators. I just really hope that they hear us and address and rectify this issue for next year, because I actually think, personally, it got to the point of being hazardous and unsafe to its attendees. Now, if you are like this doggo, location is key and important to a furry con as an attendee, especially when it comes to things like food or drinks. Luckily for us though, this con has amazing food options that are not only easily accessible, but a stone throw away inside and outside the hotels. There is the High Velocity and Sears restaurant for food with drink options inside the main hotel, the Pulse Bar in the lounge lobby, which is a restaurant and hangout by day, transforming into a bar at night, and there's a Starbucks and M Store, which is a marketplace that offers coffees, drinks, and food to stock up in your hotel room. If you're going outside the hotel, there is a ton of variety of food options in the mall that is attached through the Sky Bridge called the Hub at the Peachtree Center. Some places in the mall even stayed open for the con until Sunday so they would have more food options available. There is also some delicious food places that you can walk to right outside the Con Hotel, like Gus's world famous fried chicken, which I went to and it was so freaking good. Also, Trader Vic's, a very well-known worldwide Thai bar chain, isn't really far, and it actually opened especially for us on Sunday since FWA worked out a deal with them. Fun fact about this is that Victor, aka Trader Vic, invented the Mai Tai in 1944. And for general booze and liquor needs, if there's something that you enjoy over the course of the con, there's usually several places in walking distance from the Con Hotel to buy whatever you need. So for those that have attended FWA this year or in the past, you know that there is so much to do at the con, to the point where it's hard to choose what you want to attend. I'm going to go over some of the events and areas of the con I've experienced and attended during my time there, first being the Dealer's Den and the Artist Alley. Now, a big change happened this year in that FWA is growing into the Hyatt Regency Atlanta. So they moved their dealer's den and artist alley to the Hyatt Regency's Convention Center with an accommodating room block. It was a great move in my opinion because it made another space and hotel for furries to be included and easy accessibility, with more spaces being outside the main host hotel. Overall, it was an amazing space with so many talented furs selling their art and wares. And believe me when I say this, your wallet does not thank you. Now, what can I say? The fursuit dance competitions in Battle Zoo, which is FWA's dance battle, were both straight fire. The insane amount of talent was so good it left me speechless and emotionally charged till the end. Both events were ran beautifully with proper staging, lighting, and multiple ways to watch the dancers perform either in person or on the main stage, on a huge projector screen, or streaming online on the FWA Twitch channel. Seriously, some of the best dances I've seen at FWA this year. And if you know me, and you have seen my previous videos, you know that I love fursuit dance comps and the dance battles like Battle Zoo and Floor Wars. Fun fact about that, the very first fursuit dance competition was actually held at FWA 2008. Since then, hundreds of dance competitions all across the world have been held at furry conventions. Okay, what can't I say about this next event, which is none other than the Moonlight Festival. So, for those that don't know what the Moonlight Festival is and what it's all about, it is a 18 plus AD, that's an after dark adult themed event celebrating the kickier side of life. It's a community driven event bringing together a diverse group of artists, DJs, entertainers, panelists, and even vendors from the furry and local community to create a magical night of self-expression, education, and positivity. This event is a consent-driven safe space and separated by privacy walls, so it's giving everyone the opportunity to wear kinkier attire or gear that they would not be allowed to wear in other con spaces. But of course, it is not required. Also, for people that are 21 up, there is a cash bar there where they're serving an assortment of beverages for everyone to enjoy, so you can actually have some drinks and whatnot without having to leave the event. So, with that being said, this event was off the hinges and in the best way possible. The sheer volume of furs that attended was insane. I was hearing there was around 8K that showed up for the event. This year, they even moved it to the bottom floor main stage ballroom area to account for the insane growth they thought they were going to potentially have, and God, thank God they did. There was spectacular decor too, with motorcycles, ropework design art pieces, and stripper dance poles. And the DJs totally killed it. I have seen events centered around this vibe outside of FWA, and I have to say FWA was one of the best I have seen and experienced. For this event, I was actually vending this year with the company Scrapyard Leather. Check them out. Scrapyard Leather is amazing. And the energy was electrifying. I had a blast just meeting so many attendees and sharing and selling wares, which ended up on a very high note. You know, I wish I could explore more of the spaces, but it was like so busy on the vendor side that I was stuck around there from like 6 p.m. to 2 a.m. But that's really great for the vendors, so I'm not complaining. Overall, it was super crowded in there. Like at times, all I could see was like a sea of furs and nothing else. So it must have been hard to, at times to kind of like move around, but otherwise, I would say it was totally worth it in the end. And I don't know how the line was either because I was a vendor. So I'm not sure if this year compared to last year, if it was better or worse. So I'd be interested to hear in the comments your experiences in getting in. Another amazing and captivating event that I had the pleasure to interact with was none other than Furality The VR Experience. Now, for some insight on Furality and the events that they ran during the convention, the Furality Online Experience is the world's largest virtual reality furry convention. It is happening entirely in VR chat. The weekend-long event is dedicated to celebrating and uniting the vibrant and creative VR furry community from all corners of the globe. You can experience the convention within highly immersive custom worlds created exclusively for Furality Online Experience. So at the con itself, Furality was running the Furality Gateway Interactive VR Experience, which transcends the barrier between virtual and reality, face-to-face with furries from all over the world. They had their own dedicated space, so you could come see the hologram portal, vibe at Club Finn from Furality Legends, and pick up a Furality Silver shirt in their merch store. So speaking of Club Fin, I was at a loss for words. It was beyond well constructed with spectacular effects, lighting, and music. It was amazing seeing it come to life. So for those who don't know, Club Fin is actually Furality's premier dance club that takes place during their virtual reality furry conventions with non-stop DJs, stunning light shows, and a fun crowd. The portals were also so much fun, getting a chance for attendees to come together to hang out and interact with all the furries in VR chat. There was one in the main Furality interactive area and another in the FWA dance floors. So it was an amazing experience in and out of VR for everyone to be a part of and take enjoyment in the con experience. And lastly, I really just want to emphasize that the popularity of VR chat in the furry fandom has grown immensely in the past few years. Like, so much so that the FWA VR chat meetup filled the entire room. There is literally video and pictures from the con showing just a sea of attendees at the meetup, which I was at. And overall, it was a lot of fun to meet up with friends that I've hung out in the VR chat world. Now, with that being said, again, I am in VR chat, so if you ever see me, please feel free to say hi. Now, the most recent event, Furality Online Experience Furality Silva, nestled within the tropical rainforest of Furality Silva, will be happening on June 2nd to 4th, 2023. Next, in my opinion, is an integral part of the furry convention: DJs, dances, and music events. And lucky for us, there are plenty of those at FWA, no matter what your vibe may be. So the Silent Disco, for example, was Friday through Sunday, where you can hang out with headphones on as DJs play music directly to you instead of a loudspeaker, ultimately allowing you to vibe and dance in your own way. While spectators will watch you not knowing what's going on at first, since they don't really hear anything playing. But kidding aside, it's a really fun idea and a great way to vibe outside a major music event. Magic Records was back this year, hosting and throwing amazing events like Digifest, Beast Block, and the Dragon's Dojo Lost Arts. Attendees from Digifest wrote things on social media like, "It was freaking incredible," and "It has been freaking hyped this year." I have personally attended Digifest, and it's always an experience you do not want to miss, full of hype and incredible music. So go check them out and give all your love to Magic Records and their talent, because they deserve it and more. And the dances at night were, as always, so much fun, and the DJs killed it. I really enjoyed the setup as well. Like, the lighting and visual effects and props were on a whole nother level this year. Like that portal lighting effect behind the DJs, chef's kiss. Honestly, some of the best I've seen at a con. The VR portals really added also an extra bit of fun to the dances, getting to shake that tail live in real time with all the furries in VR. I very much enjoyed dancing in fursuit as well, and an extra plus goes to the hotel for making the dance floor actually cold this time, so we didn't overheat too quickly. Now, this doggo loves a good party, and while FWA is gearing up to be one of the best party cons in my opinion. There are so many parties to attend with different themes depending on what your vibe you want for the night. There were a lot of furs just really loving the energy of the con and wanting to throw some great parties with DJs, cool lighting, fursuits, games, and more. Some themes were even more on the 18+ style. And with the abundance of suites, which I do mean abundance because, again, this hotel did have 94 suites, as I mentioned before, it made for a larger amount of huge parties and gatherings. And best of all, since we're pretty much overrunning the whole hotel, there was not one party that I personally attended that got shut down, regardless of its location. So overall, the party vibe was just lit as shit. Now, I'm going to preface that I'm not going to go into depth about some of the unfortunate situations and drama that unfolded at this con. This is merely just to make note and acknowledge that these things did happen, and unfortunately, every big con usually has one or two things go on, especially with the amount of furs attending the event. So there was 3 situations that did catch the attention of the FWA staff, the attendees at the con, and those in the fandom. They were, number 1, an individual getting tased and hauled off by police in front of attendees in the con space. Yeah, that happened. 2, someone stealing from dealers in the dealer's den. A little context, I know someone found a fake $100 bill, and then they told other vendors they checked some of their bills and they were also fake. I don't personally know or can confirm that more thefts happened, but I think we could all agree that at the end of the day, that nobody deserves to have their hard work stolen from them. And thirdly, a fursuiter taking pictures off of what I like to call the suicide prevention rails. So they're literally the metal rails that hang over each floor of the hotel for safety. There is never a situation where it's okay to lay on top of them to get a picture. If something were to happen to you, it would be catastrophic. Don't do stuff like that. So, to finish up on a lighter subject, I wanted to make note about the closing ceremonies at FWA because it highlights some huge milestones and changes this year. First, FWA has officially become the second biggest con in the world at this point in time. It saw tremendous growth from last year, going from 7,212 to a whopping 10,328 attendees. That is literally insane, and growth you normally don't see often. Secondly, for the first time in history, the CEO/chairman has changed for FWA. Cinnabar, aka Tiger Paw, officially stepped down after nearly 20 years as the CEO/chairman, handing it over to Ren Fox. There are not a lot of cons that are out there that have the same CEO since its inception, and even for that long. So it's a big deal when someone new takes up the mantle. Cinnabar, I just wanted to let you know you have done the furry fandom and our community proud. Thank you for all you have done in giving us this wonderful convention where we can gather and celebrate our love for the fandom. And all the best to Ren and Fox, and we look forward to what you will do with FWA. With speaking of which, FWA's theme next year is going to be Furry University Homecoming, which I feel is going to be a fun theme for everyone. I'm actually even thinking of getting some props and clothing myself for this. But anyway, in conclusion, FWA is a con that seems to strive on innovating and growing alongside the fandom. A con that is so much fun, and I personally have a lot of love for. If you have not attended FWA yet, I highly suggest you do, for you will not be disappointed. And that's the end of my video highlighting my experiences at the convention, Furry Weekend Atlanta. So, did you attend the con? Did you watch it on live streams? Or do you plan on going next year after hearing about others' experiences? Let me know in the comments what you think of FWA. And as always, like, follow, and subscribe to support this doggo and future videos. Till next time, stay awesome.